And welcome to today's live event, Facebook Live. I've grown very, very fond of this feature of Facebook. So today is the first day of 21 days of diving in deeply in just looking at what we all take for granted, that we think we know what lack is. So I'm just going to check to see if anyone, I know it's pretty early in the United States. I'm in Malta at the moment. So yes, changed 3 countries in 2 months. So if anyone comes online, if they can just confirm the sound. Anyway, I enjoy making these, taking the time just to spend 20-30 minutes per day, because I think it's going to get to about that time, because it's just, it's spontaneous conversations. But through the spontaneity, it's actually wanting to look at what is happening to each and every single one of us, but in slow motion. That's what I'm attempting to do in these 21 days. I've never done this before. But I've been doing this with myself for the past 6 years. Being logical, insightful, aware, noticing. And it's something that a friend of mine said, I consider her deeply a friend, Nazara Isaac. I don't know if anyone has been following her Facebook Lives, but there's a word that she said in one of her Facebook Lives. She said, be like an explorer. And I said, that's exactly what it's been feeling like. It's been feeling like just exploring, looking, and the looking and the noticing and becoming more and more and more aware of what is actually happening step after step after step, and starting to see the connection between mind and body, and starting to see habitual reactions and action as one is feeling, as one is thinking. And I must admit, I mean, it hasn't been easy, but it became joyful. It became exciting. It became like an adventure. It became my highlight of the day, of just wanting to know more and more. Why do I feel like this? Why do I behave like this? Why did I say that? Why did I do that? Somebody got upset. Somebody got triggered. So why I've actually called these 21 days with the massive big title in capital letters, lack, is because I've noticed that anything that has hurt me, has triggered me, has made me react in not a loving way, in not in a compassionate way, in not in an understanding way, anything contrary to positivity, has always been because in that moment I have been more focused on the empty glass than on the full glass. And this is why I've wanted to really take 21 days. And I love doing talks for 21 days, because consistently looking at the same thing over and over and over again, what happens after 21 days? It's rooted. You got this. You got this. Okay. One conversation, it sort of shrivels out. It's sort of, you lose it. You sort of, it appears and then it disappears. So 21 days is like, yeah, let's talk about this and let's get to the bottom of this. I know you can't really get to the bottom of anything, but my intention, my main one intention for these 21 days is to realize when you are feeling lack and see it from a completely different perspective. And when you see it from a completely different perspective, there's no chance at all that you can ever believe in lack. And let's begin. So I see it's way too early for the outside world, but I apologize. This is the perfect time for me to really just take 20 minutes off and deliver. And it's the content that's important, not how many followers I have, or I'm quite sure is that everyone at the perfect time will rendezvous with the information when they're asking for it. So feel free to watch it at your most convenient time and share it with who you believe can benefit. I highly recommend watching these episodes along with your children, because they are already in a perfect harmony of abundance. And as we grow older, I'm 46, as we grow older, we tend to learn and teach ourselves this this concept, this belief system of lack. But we're not born knowing this. Who we really are is pure abundance. And let's start with that. So, how do you know when you're not feeling enough? Because that's what lack really is. When we're talking to people and when we're, conversing, the state of being of lack is like when you are literally conveying the essence of how you're feeling. You basically start the sentence with, I don't have enough of, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough self-worth, I don't have enough confidence, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough, I don't have enough, there isn't enough, there isn't enough. And the isn't enoughness of the conversation, there is, as you are explaining the not enoughness, the mind is seeing the absence of it. Okay, because every time we speak, the mind has an image. So there's definitions, there's an image, and then there's a feeling in the body. There's a definition, there's an image, and then there's a feeling in the body. And these three happening at the same time. When you define, I don't have enough, there's an image, there's a sort of a storyline that you're actually seeing in your mind's eye. Because remember, when you're talking and you're defining it, you're labeling it, you're describing it, you're basically having an image. Notice that when you're having any kind of conversation, when you're describing your pets, okay, you're noticing the mind has an image. It might not be a perfect image, but there's some sort of representation of what you're saying. And at the same time, your body is feeling a feeling. There's a sensation, there's an emotion, there is some form of energetic vibration. We've called it emotions, we've called it feelings, we've called it our feelings. I am feeling lack, I am feeling not enough time. There is a feeling, okay? So that's why you know that you're having an experience that when you're defining it, you're actually feeling it. Therefore, you have now constructed an experience. The three elements, when you're defining it, you're seeing it, you're feeling it. You're defining it, you're seeing it, you're feeling it. You have an experience. Maybe I'm talking way too fast for something that we're going way slow. But just to get the grip of it. So this is what's happening in the now moment. You are defining something. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough patience. I am not loved enough. I'm not respected enough. I don't have enough confidence. I'm not good enough. I'm not good at that. Now, those words, when there is an energetic charge that you really believe what you're saying, I don't have an example that I really believe that I'm saying. So let's use a topic that mostly everyone talks about, because that's the number one. Everyone puts a price tag on themselves and on everything. Let's go there. Let's go there. I don't have enough money. All right. Everyone goes there. That is lack. I don't have enough time. That is lack. It all is all an image of it's not there in your mind. So the sensation that you're feeling, the sensation that you don't have this, so you've described it with your mouth, you're describing it, you're seeing it in your mind's eye, and now you're feeling it. So what exactly are you feeling? And how do you know it's the absence of something? when you're saying it. So what in emotion, first of all, in emotion is an indication of right now, right here. It is telling you, it is indicating you how you're feeling. It's indicating to you how you're feeling. Because without the feeling, you have no experience. Okay? So what is a feeling? Let's take a step back. What exactly is a feeling? What exactly is a sensation in the body? What exactly is an emotion? An emotion is something you're feeling in the moment. So either you're feeling lack in the moment or you're not. Either you're feeling happy in the moment or you're feeling sad, or you're feeling boredom, or you're feeling, there's a whole list of names we've given to emotions, and in the moment you're feeling it. Lack, not enoughness, doesn't actually exist as something. Okay? Abundance isn't an actual thing that exists as something. You're either feeling abundant or you're not. You're feeling abundant or you're not. Happiness isn't a thing that you can go out and buy and put into you. Happiness is something you're feeling in the moment or you're not. You're feeling in the moment or you're not. I am happy. I am not happy. I am sad. I am not sad. I don't have enough. I do have enough. It is all happening in the moment. Okay? Let's get this straightened out. An emotion is something you're feeling. It is an indication of what you're thinking and what you're saying and how you feel about what you've just said and how you see it in your mind's eye. You're getting an immediate response of how you feel about what you're saying, how you're feeling about what you're saying, how you're feeling about what you're saying. Everybody has a different level of charge behind it. So if I say the word spider to someone, some of them they'll say, oh, I love spiders. Others say, oh, terrified about spiders. Oh, I never want to see them. Spiders, irrelevant. Everyone has a different reaction, different feeling. So we've defined spider, everyone sees it in their mind's eye, and they've given meaning, okay? And now they're having an indication about what they've just said and thought. So in emotion, let's get clear. Lack isn't a thing that you go out and try and throw away. Abundance isn't a thing that you go out and try and get. Because trust me, if you have now associated abundance with money and you go out and get this money, even if you've got money staring at you in the face, the feeling of money, even when you get it and you're rooted in the belief, I don't have enough of it, you will still look at it and say, this is still not enough. And even if you bring a truckload, a ton load of money, and then still from that perspective, how do I save it? How do I protect it? It becomes still, the feeling of abundance is not through something. The feeling of abundance is either you're feeling it or you're not. You're feeling it or you're not. So, how do you feel abundant? If by getting the money, I'm not going to feel abundant, try it. Try it. Go out and get a bundle of money and see if that makes you feel abundant. An emotion is always in the emotion is an indication of the quality of your thoughts. It has got nothing to do with the outside world. I'm just gonna delete these messages coming in. So this is a big aha moment for me. No matter what the circumstances outside were happening, if I was making a lot of money, I was still feeling lack. What is it? And I couldn't say anything to anyone. I'm like, what is this feeling? Why? And then there's this strive. Oh, I need to make more. I need to make more. I need to make more, because it was like an infinite black hole of pit. The feeling was there. The feeling was there. So now, if you just take away the circumstances of your outside world and just look in and just take one step back and let's be logical, okay? I'm not going to dive into any meditation or anything like that. Let's be logical. And just let's assume that these are the rules, that whatever I'm thinking and feeling are connected. My emotion is validating, indicating the validity of my thought. So when I think I'm not good enough, there's a feeling that comes up. And if you really believe you're not good enough, there's a feeling. Okay, what does it feel like? Feels like crap. I'm not feeling good. I feel, try and describe it. And one goes in and says, well, I'm not good enough. I can't do that. I can't speak on a stage. I'm terrified. I'm not good at that. I can't fix that. I can't do that. There's a feeling of inferiority. So if a feeling is an indication of your thoughts, how are we measuring this? How do you know you're not good enough? How can you define not good enough? How are you measuring not good enough? Like if you take a glass and it's full of water, how do you know it's full? Because it's reached its rim. Therefore, there was a measuring. The glass is a certain size. You know when it's empty, you know it's full because there is a point of reference, the size of the cup. You can see, you can know, you can sense the quantity of water in a cup because there is the point of reference of the cup. You know when that cup is full because the size of it, the space inside of it has been occupied. So now that we're measuring a container. Now we're measuring an emotion. How do you know you're not feeling good enough? How do you know you're feeling lack? How do you know you're feeling sadness? How can you know the feeling? There needs to be a point of reference that is measuring it. How do you know when you're happy? How do you know when you're sad? What is the point of reference that can measure the indication of this emotion? So in order to know that you don't have enough, then you must know what enough feels like. You must investigate. How do you know what enough feels like? And nobody can really answer this question immediately. And do you know why? Because there's been years that this collective has always been talking about there's not enough. And we've practiced defining what is not enough. And then we have made a meaning and an image of what enough looks like. And then we get the indication of what not enough feels like. But you wouldn't know what not enough feels like if you already didn't know what enough feels like. There's a measuring, and that is all happening within you. And you can go out when someone says, I don't have enough time. How do you know that? Because who you really are is infinite and eternal. There's a point of reference. But when you're focused on a story, on an image, on defining your reality, your now moment, I don't have enough time, there's an image, there's a feeling within you that's indicating the image. And now you're left with the feeling of the lack of abundance. So you can tap into abundance if you're focused there, if you're focused with thoughts and images and a story that will allow you to get the indication, the emotional indication of it. And that's why a lot of people always focus on appreciation, gratitude, Look for things to appreciate, because when you look for things to appreciate, it brings your attention, it turns your attention, it captures your attention. It pulls you to look for things to appreciate. So now you're feeling the inclusion. The inclusion. You're one with it. Therefore, now you're feeling abundant. If you are focused on the exclusion of the very thing that you're focused on, time, I don't have enough of it. Now you're excluding yourself from it. And it's all an image happening here. And this is all happening instantaneously. You might not just let this conversation just settle in. You are already, how many people have heard this? You are already that which you seek. So your point of reference of who you really are, and ask children this, they already feel abundant. They don't feel anything's missing until they start growing and we teach them that. But as we come in, we feel one with everything. Time is something we need to teach them. They already feel there is no lack of time. We are infinite and eternal. That is the main point of reference. The main point of reference is only happiness exists in the now moment. If you just focus on you, that is your point of reference. Happiness, here now. Abundant, here now. Inclusion, right here and now. But if I allow my mind to go and focus on something and I don't include it, the non-inclusion of the very thing I'm focused on, that you don't feel one with it, and you define it, it is not here. It is not here, and I need it. I don't have enough of it. You're going to feel the absence of the very nature of who you are. But it's a temporary indication of what you're currently focused on. It is simply indicating, it's like a little red light that comes on, a little bell that rings. It just says, beep, right here, right now. This is what you're focusing on. Right here, right now. This is what you're focusing on. And it's giving you an indication of the measurement. So you are abundant, and you've just drifted a bit along here with a story, with an image, and you've placed your attention on something you've defined is not here. But let's get this right. I remember someone that made this one example once. I can't remember who it was. But we've defined certain things. We've given meaning to certain things that are more important to us than others. So if someone says, I don't have enough money, there's an energetic charge that you really, really, really believe that. And not only now you don't have enough money, okay, the story will now project you into a future where who would you become? Who would you be without it? Okay, and the story really can get quite dramatic and quite horrifying depending on how much time you've actually looked in that direction. But if right here, right now, you don't have a spoon, there's many things you don't have right here, right now. I don't have a car right here, right now. I'm not having a fit. There's no charge. I don't have a spoon with me right now. I don't have it. It's not here. Lack. It's not here. And yet I'm feeling happy. And yet I'm feeling calm. And yet I'm feeling one with the spoon. I know that when I want the spoon, it will appear, it will be. I know. But this dramatic taboo, this charge that through the collective of this thing called money, and we'll do an episode just on the money thing. But I just want to give you the sense of what the feeling of lack really is. The feeling of lack is a temporary moment in the now moment. It is just a temporary indication of where you're focusing. It's a temporary indication of what you're saying and what you're seeing. What are you saying and what are you seeing? It's got nothing to do with the outside world. And there's this illusion, there's this misconception, there's this untruth, non-truth, this lie. I don't want to say the word, but it's a lie. That if I go and get this truck of money, if I go and manage to find some time, if I go and get this box of confidence, if I go and get this packet of worthiness, I will feel different. But hang on a minute. If we've just said that an emotion is an indication of your thoughts, if an emotion is an indication of what you're defining, then the emotion that you're seeking can only be felt and experienced if you're focused in a direction, on a thought, with yourself right here, right now. If you focus on who you really are, you can tap into it right here, right now. And give it a go. Sit in a comfortable position and just allow yourself to wonder. Wonder, what does abundance feel like? Be an explorer. Ask the question. Be prepared to just notice. Be prepared to recognize, because you do know what abundance feels like. If you have experienced lack, and we have all experienced lack, you know what abundance feels like, because you wouldn't be able to identify what lack feels like if you were not abundant to begin with. You are abundant already. The fact that you're aware of it or not is irrelevant right now, because you're experiencing lack. You're experiencing lack, but you wouldn't know that it's lack if you weren't already abundant. That's how we measure. That's how we name. That's how we label. That's how we define and describe and categorize. Hi, Judy. We run off with stories. We run off with thoughts. We run off into a future that is all here in our minds. And we are so good at imagination. And that's when I wrote the ebook. It's still on my website if anyone wants to download it. The amazing abilities you have. I pondered this for years. How come every single person on this planet has the ability to imagine? How come every single person on this planet has the ability to feel emotions? And guess what? Emotions can never be switched on or switched off. They are simply indicating in this present moment how I am feeling about the thought I've just thought. How I am feeling about the thought I've just thought. There's an indication. As Joe Dispenza puts it, the thoughts are the language of the mind and the feelings are the language of the body. And the two of them together allow you to have an experience right here, right now. I am focused on the lack of money. My body is now giving me that sensation of what a lack of money actually feels like. It's the equivalent experience in the form of a sensation. So there's an image, there are words, and there are feelings. I'm having an experience. Voila. You're defining it, you're seeing it, you're feeling it. Voila, I'm having an experience right here, right now. The next moment, a puppy comes along. The describing of the money has gone, the image has gone, the feeling has gone, the puppy is here. You like puppies. All of a sudden, the feeling of lack is no longer an indication. Right here, right now, the puppy is here. Now there's a definition, there's a puppy, there's an image of the puppy you used to have back in the day. Now there's a feeling of appreciation, there's a feeling of love. Okay? The puppy goes away, you're back alone. And the thought, I don't have enough money, comes back in. Voila. I am now defining, I'm now seeing, I'm now feeling lack. There's an emotion and indication right here, right now. Your best friend phones you. And now you're having a conversation with your best friend. And now you're telling him the story you were secretly having with yourself. And now you tell him exactly how it is so that there isn't enough money. And because your best friend is also part of this collective and we all believe that an actual lack doesn't exist, we'll now give you feedback of exactly how your story makes him feel. It reminds him of how lackful he feels as well. And now there's an amplitude of lack on one side and more lack there. Now you're feeling even worse. But you did reach out because you were trying to make yourself feel better. But why? Because no one really knows that right here, right now, you can do it yourself. And that is my intention for these 21 days. But first, to just realize, can you just reason with yourself, look within yourself, that every emotion you're getting is indicating the validity of your thoughts. Write them down. What are those thoughts that you think 90% of the time? What is the story? What is the meaning? How have you colored it? What perfume have you put on it? Is it big? Is it small? Does it have colors? Just write it all down so then you can really see the energetic charge that you've given to this whole story. And the funny thing is, I remember when I was a young girl, the only reason, and I'm going to share this with you, and then I'm going to stop for today's episode, but it was a massive, big aha moment for me, just to give you an idea of how twirled up these stories in our minds can get. So as a young girl, I don't remember how young I was, but there was this logic in my mind that came up that someone had told me to do something because it was the rules. I don't know, I think it was my first bank. And I had to follow these rules. And something just felt, that sounds stupid, or something to that extent. That just sounds off, What kind of rules are these? And it just sounded, the resonance of it was just like, that is just absurd. And so in my mind, it said something like this: oh, well, they won't listen to me now because I'm nobody. I'm no one important. They have the authority over me. They are a big institution. They are higher than me. We already had like levels of, I've made a meaning out of this. I'm small. They are big. They have power. I have no power. But already by that time in my life, I had already been taught making meaning out of things. So in my mind, I said, only once I have a lot of money, then I will feel more powerful. And once I am powerful, then people will listen to me. And then I will tell them how stupid their rules are. Like, I'm telling it to you from the perspective of seeing this, of why I've been trying to climb the ladder in these past 30 years. It's all because I disapproved of following rules that made no sense to me. And the only reason why I'm telling you the story, because seeing that belief, and that's why it's so important it actually becomes exciting to realize the beliefs you hold. The sense of relief that came upon me, it felt something like, I don't have to do this exam that I didn't study for. Like, thank goodness. I didn't study for this exam. I don't have it. It's just that feeling of relief that I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to do this anymore. I mean, the logic that my mind came up, okay, I don't want to follow these stupid rules. How do I do that? How do I just stop following these stupid rules? And my mind said, okay, when you grow up, you get money, and then once you got money, you'll have authority. And after you have authority, people will listen to you, and then you can tell them your rules are stupid. Yeah, you'll laugh. So did I. But it's amazing if you actually ask yourself, why do you want what you think you want? So right now, I've realized all my life, I also felt the lack of money. Because I was measuring it with my desire, but that I had literally forgotten the verbalization of it. I don't think I've ever verbalized. It was an intention. I don't like these rules. And all of a sudden, it jumped to some conclusion. I don't like the rules. I need to get a lot of money. The mind, when it doesn't understand the whole picture, it'll just fill in gaps. And that happens when you rely on the mind constantly, when you think you are the mind, that it has to figure things out. So for this first episode of today, I'd just like you to just contemplate. Can you look at lack as an emotion, a sensation, as an indication of the quality of your thoughts happening right now, and not as this objective concept of something that actually exists? Like light and darkness. Darkness is the experience that one has when you resist light, and you only know it's dark because you know what light looks like. You know what light is. The only truth that actually exists is light. So you cannot know one without the other. So if you have felt lack, you know what abundance feels like. And if you just put it as your first number one exploration, well, let's explore this. If an emotion and a sensation is just a temporary, now moment indication of what I am giving attention to and what I am saying in my mind's eye, in the intimacy of your own mind, then it is not something I can pursue outside. Just see it as a 1, 2, 3. It is happening right now. In emotion, it is something that you are experiencing in the moment. So when one goes to search for abundance in order to avoid feeling this lack, and that's what we're going to be discussing tomorrow, what we do as a knee-jerk reaction to avoid feeling a feeling. So this is, hi Mary. This is the first thing that we just need to let it sit with us. Just let it sit. First of all, what is an emotion? What is the sensation? Just slow down a bit and just look. What I am defining, what I am seeing, what I am feeling is happening right now for me to have this experience. An experience, you only know you're having an experience if you've defined it, if you can see it, and you can feel it. Otherwise, nothing's happening for you. That is an experience. And the story can actually go on. The more attention, the more conscious attention, your awareness is all wrapped up into the story, and off you go. Off you go with it. You fly with it. And you're having an experience that we then call my life. We literally scare ourselves silly. So, first day, what is it? Lack is just one of them, one of those indications. And the only reason why you know what lack is, because you know what abundance feels like. It's already inside of me. I am it already. Otherwise, I wouldn't know. I am light. Otherwise, I wouldn't recognize darkness. I am happy. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to recognize sadness. I am abundance. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to recognize lack. And why we're feeling all of these, that's another episode coming up. That's why we need 21 days, is because contrast and negative emotions, let's call them negative emotions, but these beautiful emotions, the variety of this rainbow of different emotions, helps us create and desire. And I'm going to leave you with that. I will see you tomorrow, again at 2 p.m. GMT +1. I'm here in Malta. It might be too early. I might do it a bit later. I'm not sure. I'll have to reschedule my calendar. But as usual, I'm loving these moments connecting with you. Thank you for the comments. I haven't been able to read them. If you have any questions, please just drop me a line. Maybe a personal message is better. And I'll make sure to cover any topics that you'd like to talk about. But lack is on the table for the next 20 days, guys. I promise you, we will cover the whole big picture. And by the end of these 21 days, oh my God, I'm so excited for you. You will be able to see things from a different perspective, and you'll be able to calm yourselves down and be empowered in actually aligning yourself with who you really are instead of running off with a temporary story. I love you all so much. See you tomorrow.